Well, hello everyone. I hope you're having a blessed and beautiful day today. So, while I'm working on my Mormonism topic, I wanted to read a few articles for you today that popped up in the headlines today. And one of them was, well, they're both off of Now the End Begins, but so we'll start with this one. And it says, Bill Gates and his Gavi Vaccine Alliance launching AI-powered trust stamp, combining a vaccine and digital biometric ID in West Africa. Digital identity capabilities from Trust Stamp are now being integrated with MasterCard's Wellness Pass solution, which it will launch in cooperation with Gavi in West Africa. Proving identity without revealing any information about it is the idea behind Trust Stamp Zero's knowledge approach to online identity verification, according to the profile by MasterCard. I'm going to kind of skip around a little bit here. It says, the Bill Gates fever dream masterpiece of a vaccine tied to a digital identification is here. Under the banner of his Gavi Vaccine Alliance and through a partnership with MasterCard, AI is being used from a company called Trust Stamp that takes tokenized identities from any biometric modality or other identity data from any source. Of course, Bill Gates is launching this in Africa, where his bought and paid for credentials from the World Health Organization give him an open door to use the people of Africa as guinea pigs. Welcome to phase 1 in just a little under 4 months from the date we told you that it was coming soon. Let's see here. All of these forces have been swirling together for quite some time, but it took the manufactured hysteria surrounding the real virus of COVID-19 to pull it all together. Now Bill Gates and company had advanced things to the point where they have a working model combining a vaccine with biometric digital identification. And it is rolling out in West Africa right now. After Africa, it will be launched in Europe, Asia, and then the United States. You can expect it to hit sometime between the end of 2020 and the first few months of 2021. Are you ready for what comes next? Africa to become testing ground for Trust Stamp vaccine, record, and payment systems. From Mint Press News, the program, which was first launched in late 2018, will see Trust Stamp's digital identity platform integrated into the Gavi MasterCard Wellness Pass, a digital vaccination record and identity system that is also linked to MasterCard Click-to-Pay system and powered by its AI and machine learning technology called New Data. MasterCard, in addition to professing its commitment to promoting centralized record-keeping of childhood immunizations, also describes itself as a leader toward the world beyond cash, and its partnership with Gavi marks a novel approach towards linking a biometric digital identity system, vaccine records, and a payment system into a single cohesive platform. The effort, since its launch nearly 2 years ago, has been funded via $3.8 million in Gavi donor funds, in addition to a matched donation of the same amount by Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. In early June, Gavi reported that MasterCard's Wellness Pass program would be adapted in response to the coronavirus pandemic. Around a month later, MasterCard announced that Trust Stamp's biometric identity platform would be integrated into Wellness Pass, as Trust Stamp's system is capable of providing biometric identity in areas of the world lacking internet access or cellular connectivity, and also does not require knowledge of an individual's legal name or identity to function. The wellness program involving Gavi, MasterCard, and Trust Stamp will soon be launched in West Africa and will be coupled with COVID-19 vaccination program once a vaccine becomes available. The push to implement biometrics as part of the national ID registration system has been ongoing for many years on the continent and has become a highly politicized issue in several African countries. Opposition to similar projects in Africa often revolves around the costs surrounding them, such as biometric voter management system, and the Electoral Commission of Ghana has been trying to implement ahead of the 2020 general election in December. Bright Simmons, honorary VP of the Imani Policy think tank, has questioned the budgetary allocations for the new system, claiming that the unnecessary registration of 17 million people all over again represents millions of dollars being blown for reasons that nobody can explain in his country. Trust Stamp's biometric identity system, largely funded by MasterCard's massive investment in the company in February, utilizes a technology it called Evergreen Hash that creates an AI-generated 3D mask based on a single photo of a person's face, palm, or fingerprint. Once this mask is created, much of the original data is discarded and encryption keys are created in the place of a person's name. Oh, here we go. Or other traditional identifiers. Okay. Oh my goodness. Remember the dream that I had a while back, and I was in this white room and nobody had any names anymore, but they were all numbers. The nurse came out to call the guy back, and she didn't call his name like they traditionally do. She called a number and the man stood up. So here it is right here. Holy smokes. I'll read it again. Once this mask is created, much of the original data is discarded and encryption keys are created in the place of a person's name or other traditional identifiers. Wow. Okay. Only a small percentage of the data that originally existed in the hash, Trust Stamp CEO Garth Gerner has stated, what you have is something safer for storing because it can't be used to directly identify you. No one would recognize you in this huge jumble of numbers. The result, according to Genner, is an irreversible, non-personally identifiable information system that protects privacy, reduces potential for misuse, and allows effective inclusion when there is no other form of legal record. Garner also explained in a recent press release that the unique hash is capable of evolving as a new hash with updated health information is created every time a child or individual gets vaccine. Trust Stamp AI algorithms can accurately determine if different hashes belong to the same individual, meaning that the hash evolves over time just as you evolve. Holy smokes! It is unclear how the Wellness Pass initiative is motivated by public health concerns as opposed to free market considerations. Indeed, the Gavi Alliance, largely funded by the Bill and Melinda Gates and Rockefeller Foundations, as well as allied governments, and the vaccine industry is principally concerned with improving the health of markets for vaccines and other immunization products, rather than the health of individuals, according to its own website. Similarly, MasterCard's Gavi partnership is directly linked to its World Beyond Cash effort, which mainly bolsters its business model that has long depended on a reduction in its use of physical cash. Trust Stamp also shares this market-focused vision for its digital identity system, as a company has stated that it is looking for a new commercialization option for its Evergreen Hash technology, specifically with prison systems. Talks with private and public prison systems have revealed an interest in the utilization of Trust Stamp technology to provide identification for individuals on parole without making them pay for pricey ankle bracelets and monitors their every move, as Trust Stamp's platform would provide that same function, but in a touchless and less expensive manner. Trust Stamp's interest in providing its technology to both COVID response and to law enforcement is part of a growing trend where numerous companies providing digital solutions to COVID-19 also offer the same solutions to prison systems and law enforcement for the purpose of surveillance and predictive policing. For instance, contact tracing software originally introduced as part of the COVID-19 response has since been used by police departments across the United States to track protesters during the country's recent bouts of protests and civil unrest. Similarly, a controversial Israeli tech firm currently being used in Rhode Island offers AI-powered predictive analytic to identify likely future COVID-19 hotspots and individuals likely to contract COVID-19 in the future, while also offering governments the ability to predict future locations of and participants in riots and civil unrest. What is perhaps most alarming about this new wellness plan initiative is that it links these dual uses, digital solutions to cashless payment solutions that could soon become mandated as anything over then touchless, cashless methods of payment have been treated as potential modes of, I can't say this word. Okay, we're going to try. Contagion, I guess, by Gavi allied groups like the World Health Organization, among others, since the pandemic was first declared earlier this year. All right. So that was quite an interesting article. And sometimes when I react the way that I do, sometimes I wanted to kind of share with you guys. A lot of times when I see these articles that I want to share with you, I read maybe the first half of it to see if it's worth sharing. And I don't read all the way. And so when I react the way that I do sometimes, it's because I haven't read all the way through. And so I'm reading it first as I'm reading it on here. So when I got excited about, the numbers and stuff, which is totally nuts because I had a dream about that, it just shows where we are at. Okay, here's another one. It's kind of sort of the same thing. Rockland County, New York, now issuing $2,000 fine per day for anyone who refuses to be part of their COVID-19 contact tracing surveillance. I probably won't read this whole article. It says, as reported by the New York Times, a party in Rockland County, New York in mid-June attracted a crowd of 100 people in violation of a state ordinance that capped gathers at 10 people. After the party's host and 8 guests tested positive, Rockland officials launched a vigorous contact tracing effort to identify others who may have been exposed. They quickly hit a road bump as several of the partygoers obstructed the efforts. A lot of people don't want this. They're not giving the information that they're wanting, and so they're trying to force the hand of people, and they're trying to bully people and scare people into submitting into their tactics. So those who did not comply and share what they knew by the following day would face a $2,000 a day fine, according to Rockland officials. Let's see. I'll just read what he wrote. Are you surprised at this? I certainly am not. The only surprising thing is that this model has not yet been adopted nationwide, but it's quickly gaining steam, as I've noticed quite a few states are picking this up. I know Washington State is. Okay, it wasn't only as recently as April 10th that we were told that the contact tracing would be voluntary, right up to the moment that it wasn't. Of course, just like the telephone tax used to fund the Spanish-American War in 1893, don't expect it to go away anytime soon. What you can expect is a hefty fine for non-compliance like we are now seeing in New York. Long before the Jews were physically sent to concentration camps, they were marked with a yellow star before being segregated into the ghettos. That's how it works. It's a process that takes place over time, but rest assured that slow and steady, it will complete its mission. COVID made be the excuse they are using to force contact tracing surveillance, but you can bet the farm you can bet the farm on the fact that it will quickly be applied to all sorts of other areas that have nothing to do with coronavirus. Enjoy the article below from Forbes extolling the virtues of fining people $2,000 a day for not taking part in the contact tracing surveillance program. So it says from Forbes, if the 8 had failed to comply, they would have been subject to a $2,000 a day fine. However, within 24 hours, all 8 complied, signaling that the threat of the monetary fine may be an effective health policy tool to mitigate the spread of coronavirus. So they're going to bully people and scare them. A 100-person gathering in Rockland County. As reported by the New York Times, a party in Rockland County, New York, in mid-June attracted a crowd of 100 people. Okay, we read that part. Rockland County subpoenas and potential fines. Instead of tolerating the party-goers' selfish refusal to cooperate, Rockland County upped the ante, issuing subpoenas. Those who did not comply or share what they knew by the following day would face fines of $2,000 a day. The subpoena and the financial warning worked as all 8 individuals who had received a subpoena started cooperating with the county health department. I will not allow the health of our country to be compromised because of ignorance, stupidity, or obstinance, or anything else, Ed Day, a Rockland County executive, said. Wow, isn't that interesting? Contact tracing is essential. Contact tracing is one of the few tools that public health officials have in their arsenal to fight coronavirus outbreaks until a vaccine is safely developed. A role of government is to protect individuals and their families, as well as healthcare workers and other essential. I'm sorry, I'm going to have to break in there. It's not the role of the government to protect families. That is we have a brain. We're adults. We can do that ourselves. We don't need the government stepping in, trying to tell us what we can and cannot do. Okay, back to the regularly scheduled program. Okay, Dr. Tom Frieden, who headed up the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention during the Obama administration and oversaw response to H1N1, Ebola, and Zika, and Dr. Kelly Hanig, the Director of Public Health at Bloomberg, and a former professor of infectious disease at the University of Pennsylvania. The hard, skilled work of contact tracing is akin to hurricane warnings. People are alerted so they can protect themselves and their families. We need to play the hand we've been dealt as well as we possibly can to save lives, reduce spread, and help restore our economy. Sadly, New York City and other places have embraced contact tracing have struggled with execution. In New York, less than half the city residents who had tested positive or were presumed positive provided information to contact tracers. In Massachusetts, only 60% were responding, and in Louisiana, less than 50% were answering. The rest of the country should adopt Rockland County's model. Contact tracing is so crucial in containing outbreaks that it shouldn't be left up to the whims of individuals. Nice. The COVID-19 pandemic proves how health and wealth are tightly integrated. Economic recovery depends on being able to control the outbreak of COVID-19, and currently, the U.S. is failing miserably. The virus drives the economics. Let's see. Up until now, most coronavirus prevention efforts, including quarantines and contact tracing, have only been loosely enforced. When you have imbeciles in Alabama throwing COVID parties to see who can get infected first, and selfish vacationers in the Ozarks crowding pools without masks, we need to wake up to the fact that voluntary efforts are inadequate. They're going to make it mandatory, just like the vaccine. Individual rights have limits. Just like one cannot yell fire in a crowded movie theater and one's right to throw a punch ends where another's nose begins, we need to rethink the balance of individual rights and community obligation. If individuals aren't willing to take rational and basic steps to mitigate the spread, here we go. The government must mandate action and ramp up its enforcement. Rockland County subpoena and threat of a $2,000 fine worked well. The rest of the country should adopt equal measures. American lives depend on it, they say. All right. So I think those were the two. There was another one, I think. Let me check here. I won't read it all, but Emmanuel Macron warns Netanyahu not to proceed with annexation of Judea and Samaria, but to divide Israel for Palestinians in a two-state solution. Here's a good one. The Colorado governor calls anti-maskers selfish blanks. He extends COVID orders. Let's see. There was one I wanted to read for you guys. I'm getting to it. Hang on just a second. Here it is. This will be the last one. Colorado town threatens a year in jail for residents who refuse to wear a mask. Englewood, Colorado, just south of Denver, is requiring all of its residents to wear a face mask amid the spike in coronavirus cases, and violators could face up to a year behind bars, coupled with a hefty fine, which that's happening here in Washington State as well. But I kind of tested the theory because I wanted to see what they would do, and I walked into the store without a mask on, and so far I haven't had any pushback. I haven't had any troubles. I did have kind of a few stares, but nobody kicked me out because I wasn't wearing it. I even had a few people ask me how I got in the store without it. So I kind of tested the theory to see what would happen. Of course, if they said anything, the stores themselves, they have a right to kick anybody out for any reason whatsoever. So, if they ask you to wear a mask, inside the store, you should probably wear one. And I'm just saying that because, I don't want to wear one, but I will if they ask me to, because it's, it goes along with the same thing. If you have no shoes on or no shirt on, there's no service. You're not allowed to walk in the store. If you don't have a mask on, you're not allowed to walk in the store. It's kind of the same thing. But until they tell me that I need to, I'm not going to. I don't like wearing them. I can't breathe with them on. I have a very hard time breathing with them on, so I choose not to. And, if somebody doesn't like it, that's too bad. But as long as the store doesn't say anything, whatever. But, so anyways, I will leave that with you guys. And, just keep motivated and know that Jesus is coming soon. And just know that he loves you and he longs for that relationship with you. And if you want to know more about Jesus, you can place a comment down below, or you can send me an email, ask for my email address, and I will share it with you. But other than that, guys, I love you, and until next time, may you be richly blessed.